Hello, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, I titled this message, Fake Generosity. Fake generosity. And for some of you all, you have discovered that friends, are they really friends? Relatives, are they really close and loving and kind and generous like they claim? A long time ago, I was talking to a relative and they bragged about how generous and kind they were. And you know how the Lord moves. He will move you to test the spirits. The reason for the test is because you might have prayed about something and you may be thinking in your mind that the person who you're talking to is going to be the one that blesses you. Can I tell you that usually it is not the person that you think is going to be used to be generous toward you? I've been on this planet long enough, and I can tell you that some of the most generous people were not relatives. Matter of fact, these were people who I didn't even know. They were strangers. Okay? So you're fake generous that are around you for purposes of this audio. These fake generous people are the ones that are actors. They're pretenders in your life. They say that I am going to do A, B, and C for you, but then they make up excuses as to why they can't. Some will say that they're interested in your product or your service. And then when you check analytics, because they think that you can't check to see if they really bought something, you check analytics and you find out that maybe there was 1 or 2 people that purchased the product. But meanwhile, 10 people said that they were either going to purchase or had already purchased. And we know that's a bold-faced lie. Okay? The fake generous who they show up at a family function, but they show up empty-handed, or they don't bother to buy anything in advance through a registry or service. But yet I am so generous. I don't see anything in your hand, and I did check, and it turns out that you never did buy A, B, and C. Okay? The fake generous are those individuals who will say that they're going to leave something for their sons, daughters, grandchildren, and then when they pass away, they've left nothing. Okay? Well, something could have changed and maybe those no good, rotten, whatever, whoever. No, true generous people, they're not holding you to any standards. When they say that they're going to do something, they do it. They are men and women of their word. Some of these individuals were not that. It was talk. It was mouth running, but they were never that. Matter of fact, one particular relative had exposed all of these different people to let us know that you don't need to be trusting and believing in these people and what comes out of their mouth. I've been here long before you all have been here, and I will tell you that they are known for saying they're going to do something. They might do a little bit here and there, and then after that they fall off and they find every excuse not to do. And if we didn't see that with our own eyes later on in life. There was one relative who stated that many relatives were selfish. They were very much into themselves or their select people, as long as those select people were doing for them. Now, the public relations campaign, if you will, said that we're generous and we're the type of people that give and give some more. And then when times got rough, they were not. They were not. Okay. Some of us, when we were really down and out, we went to these people because other people told us to go to them because this is so-and-so who they just sold land and they got this and they got that and they might be able to help you. And, oh, this one, she is good for saving up money and she will help out this one and that one every now and again. You might want to write her or talk to her about this. Oh, and another one, they don't even have any kids and they talk about all of what they got. And so you might as well check in with these people. Let me tell you, when I checked in with these people were not the least bit generous, kind, sweet, loving. Instead, they were nosy. Okay. They just wanted to hear what you had to say about your trouble. And then what they did was they went back and they told the rest of the people in the family about your situation. Okay. But I thought that, yeah, exactly. You thought, and you thought wrong. These individuals are those that we don't call them children of darkness, some of them, because they're definitely not that. They are believers, but they're stingy believers. Okay. They're stingy, self-absorbed, and some, as we like to use the psychological term, narcissistic, who want nothing more than to feed their own ego, their id. That's all they want to do. What floats my boat, what makes me feel good inside. I want to see this one suffer. I want to hear about this one suffering. I feed off of that person's disappointments, their failures, you see. And so we get to a place where we go, I'm not going to call this person up because I know that this person is going to take my information and share it with my sibling. I'm not going to call this one up because I know this one is known for causing all sorts of divisiveness between cousins. I'm not going to call this one up because I know that my mother and father had issues with this one. And the reason was because this one tends to brag about this issue and that issue that they solved and how they were so good too, and how they have the most money and they travel here and travel there. I mean, really? You know, some of these braggers, if you will, they will sit on the phone or they'll sit in front of you and they'll talk about every place that they ever visited. They'll talk about all of this money that they've spent, how they've helped this civic group and that one, how they're part of this brotherhood and that sisterhood. And some of you all, you get nauseous, right? You get those nauseous feelings. You're like, oh my goodness, I don't think I can hear. I don't think I can hear any more of this, right? Oh, you know what? The baby is crying in the other room. I'm going to have to, Lord, please forgive me, but the baby wasn't crying in the other room. I just wanted to get off the phone. The Lord's like, okay, next time, tell the truth. Tell the truth, right? The truth is that I'm just going to have to cut this conversation short. Oh, okay. Because you see, I have a need right now. And I mean, I'm glad that all of these wonderful things have happened to you. I sincerely am glad. But I was under the impression that you're the kind of person that can help people out. You know, no strings attached, no going back telling everybody how you helped me and none of that. I thought that that's who you were, but I realized that, you know, you're looking out for you, right? And then they want to get into all of the discussion about, yeah, well, I got this bill to pay and I really wish I could help you, honey. And, you know, I also got all these things I'm trying to accomplish and everything. Well, you see, if you had all of that going on, you should have said all that, but you were talking as if you were already successful. You see, some of these folks out here in internet world who say that they made 20, 30, 40, 50 some $1,000s. I want some of you all to test them in the comments. Reach out to them. Oh, you did? You did? You made that? Okay. So then you could be able to help some of us out who have been faithfully listening to you for a long, long time, right? With your business endeavor or with our business endeavor, since you are bragging about how you made XYZ amount of money. See, that's why I don't get into all of that. Because the truth of the matter is that I already know that if money is just trickling in and it's up and down and up and down some more and then some more, how am I going to be able to give out money here, there, and everywhere? You see, those sorts of money making platforms, they can be a problem, a huge problem when you are that individual who you say that you made 28, 30, 40, 50 some odd $1,000 in a month or so. And then there is a test of all tests called the IRS, and they're going to want that money. And there's a many of people behind closed doors that I'm sure they're crying. Yeah, we saw your advertisements. We saw that you claimed that you made XYZ, and now we got a little file folder on you. We got some screenshots, and we want those documents to match up based on what you said. And now suddenly people are trying to move money here, there, and everywhere. Oh, but I tell you, the internet, it has an endless memory, doesn't it? you see. And so your relatives, you see some of what they're posting here and there, and you go, wow, that's nice. Okay. And then it turns out that there's nothing to it. Behind closed doors, they tell you, look, let me tell you, I'm not making that much money. Oh, well, then why would you lie and tell everybody that you are? Because, see, I'm sitting up here and I'm telling people, look, I made $5 here, $10 there, $20, and then I talk to you and I figure that you're going to hook a sister up. Tell me what you're doing. Right. And they go, well, you see, sometimes you just got to do certain things, say certain things in order to get a lot of page views. And then you could get money that way, or you could get money through advertising, or you could get money through being an affiliate marketer and all that. And then we ended up exposing some of that on my other channel and some of these other business models that people claim you can make a whole lot of money. And some of them are honestly saturated. Grandma's doing it, the daughter's doing it, the people down the street are, they're just flooding these various platforms to the point where there's too many people that are wanting us to buy and buy some more, so when you do have a little money, you try to spread it around, but when you got some folks who they're doing really well and they're not telling lies and they're not exaggerating about it, they want to charge you thousands and thousands of dollars. And wait a minute, you're supposed to be family. I mean, I thought you were going to help me out. Since you don't want to give me any money, at least give me a system or something, a process. I mean, come on. And, if you tried this sort of thing with some of your relatives, you already know it's like keeping secrets in a safe with a combination lock, a key, some guards standing all around. It's a lot going on with some of these people. And so the fake generous, the Lord had called my mind to remembrance on the fake, because sometimes we get in our feelings and we want some things to happen and we want to partner with some individuals, and the Lord says, no. If they can't help you on the little things, what makes you think that they're going to help you with the larger things? Okay. And for some of you all, you're trying to teach your sons, your daughters, your grandsons, your granddaughters, how not to be generous, or how not to be generous. No, how to be generous and how to guard yourself from those who are not generous. Okay. Because we want them to be generous. We don't want them to be stingy. We don't want them to be difficult and mean-spirited and arguing and all of this other stuff over money and all of what comes with a request. Some individuals, the reason why they're not really cool with friends is they're not seeing the big picture for what it is. But there's a pattern with some where they are consistently stingy. And this is why some of the friends, as well as some of the family members, say, enough, I'm so done. I've known this woman for 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years. And I have spent my share of conversations with her, arguing, or sometimes not arguing, but being gentle, being kind, having tears in my eyes, saying things like, look, I wish you could help me out with this. I wish you could do this for me. I wish you could do that, and she's always coming up with excuses as to why she can't, you see. So lots of things going on, and it's disheartening. It's upsetting when it's next level. It's one thing when we're just talking, right, as friends, about somebody in the circle who's stingy, who is cheap, who is selfish, who just doesn't want to help. Or when they do help, they give you something that you really can't use, or something that easily breaks, has problems, all of that. It's one thing when you're talking in these circles about these people. It's quite another thing when you go away from that circle and you start establishing boundaries. Okay. they say, I want you to buy this for this person and that one in my circle, or I want you to help me out with this project that I'm on and all this other stuff. And meanwhile, you recall those times where they were not there for you. It is totally okay. It is 100% okay. I validate you for saying, no, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to support you. But this is a good cause, and I really need your help. And I understand. But you see, there's a lot right now that I am doing to build myself up. Because remember that time when I called you? Yeah, I remember you were so emotional and you really needed something. Yeah, I really did. And remember when you told me that you had your share of issues that you were trying to deal with? Oh, yes, it was a terrible time, girl. Oh, my God. Yes. Okay. So I don't ever want to be in that position again where I have to call you or anyone else, because I realize that I need to guard my finances, guard my time, guard my energy, all of it. Because when push comes to shove, I realize that people, they have their issues and they're not going to be there when they have their issues. Well, but I wanted to, I understand, but that is why I'm being guarded with my monies. You understand? Okay, I'm sure we have a meeting of the minds, but all the best to you. I hope someone does help you in your endeavors, okay? Thank you. Thank you so much, though, for thinking about me, all right? And I'll pray for you, okay? I felt like I had to give somebody a detailed example that you could be able to piggyback off of. And if you want all the proper verbiage and you want it to be grammatically correct and all of that good stuff, all you got to do is put it in ChatGPT and it can revise it for you. Look, it's just so ridiculous, the things that individuals have cried about, they have been angry about, and all of this for what? You see, for what? Because some fake person, fake generous person, to be more specific, or they could be fake. I mean, some people got some interesting profiles out here. But you see, if that's not really who you are, then I'd rather you say that you're stingy, cheap, nervous, upset, anxiety filled, don't like to give to people. I'd rather you say that than be the one that pretends and says something like, oh, yes, I am so generous and I really enjoy helping people and all of that. And then it's like, okay, well, you see. And so we guard ourselves from the folks who take advantage of us. That's why for some of us, it's not about being stingy or about being cheap or being ungenerous. It's just we have to guard ourselves, especially with strangers, unfortunately, because there have been scams out here, identity issues and all of that. And yeah, I did talk about some of the scams that are going on my other channel, Resource Rundown. So please do check that out. But once again, protect yourself from these individuals who the writing is on the wall. She's told you that she can't help, or she said she was going to help, but she didn't follow through, or she said she was going to help you. She followed through, but it wasn't what you really wanted or needed. People who will go and tell your business to other people about your request for monies and whatever else you needed. And they will tell these people as if you are such a burden and like you're always calling and all of that. We got to, once we see what these people are doing, we don't dismiss it. We don't say that that's not how she is just because she says that's not how she is. We know that's how she is. Okay. Too many people will dismiss the truth because that's mother, father, sister, brother, cousin, aunt, uncle, grandma, granddad, brother, sister, all this stuff. No, we're not going to dismiss the truth. I need someone to see this fake generous person for who he or she is. They've shown you this time and time again. You keep going over there being disappointed. Then when you got some money that you could help somebody else out who isn't fake generous, you won't do that. You'll go right back to that same toxic person. You see? And so this is another type of person to deliver yourself from. And I am praying that God will motivate some individuals to be delivered from these individuals. Now, for some people, they're married to somebody like this. Now, you can keep talking to them about how they make you feel concerning their stinginess. You can argue until you're blue in the face, until they finally bend. I mean, you could do all of those things, or you can just simply guard what you have, and when they come wanting a handout or wanting you to support them on, or, oh, I need you to buy this, you can just do just like they do. No, I'm sorry, I can't do it. And they're going to want to argue and fuss and get upset with you. Oh, well, you got to have, as my grandmother told me a long time ago, you got to have some type of money for yourself. Because there's that day that you're going to need something, right? It might be a feminine product for some of you all. It might be something to help out somebody who is really in need. And now they have sapped you dry. And when you need something, they're like, oh, I can help. And then they don't. Okay. So I pray in Jesus' mighty name for every individual who is going through their share of difficulty with a fake, generous person. And I know it's real tempting to want to expose this person for who they really are. I would definitely ask the Lord for guidance when it comes to that. Especially if you are talking to somebody who they really want to believe that someone's going to help them and they don't. This sort of thing happened not that long ago, where one particular relative had reached out and simply said, look, I'm going to help out this other relative. And so the plan was that the relative who was going to be helped out was going to do their portion of payback, if you will, later on. It turned out that person had took advantage of the relative. I knew that was coming. And when I talked with that person about changing their plans, they wanted to go full speed ahead. Can I tell you that God will create situations for some people, because it's not enough for you to tell them. They have to experience the negativity on their own. So I know it's tough, especially if it is someone who's close to you. But sometimes once you've already gave, whether it was a bold warning, a subtle warning, okay, you sent smoke signals up in the air, whatever, and they still don't want to see it for what it is, we move on to the next person to help. We don't stay over there in that conversation, because sometimes what will happen is you can get so upset that they're continuing to allow somebody to take advantage of them that you start bad mouthing, you start gossiping, you start acting ugly. So no, I've already warned this person. I told them, and that's it. And we move on. And then they ended up having the challenge, and then they were like, how do I get myself out of it? And praise God for his insight as to helping that person get out of that situation, you see. So a lot of things that we go through, right? Because we want to be the one that is the genuine person who's genuinely being generous and helping others. And sometimes people take your kindness for weakness, don't they? Well, thank you as always for taking time out to listen. Please do check out the various audio on this channel related to relationships, family, business, spirituality. There are many audios that do have scriptures and biblical teachings and so forth. So by all means, check those out. Also, my other channel is Resource Rundown, where we go over the business side of things, the types of tools that can help you in your business endeavors, things that can save you time, save you money, and some things that might cost you some serious money, but is well worth it too. So do check us out over there at Resource Rundown. And then there is a podcast that we have over there on Spotify. You can check us out by way of our .com, which is stillnessgift, GIFT.com. There is also a store that we have that is stillnessgifts.com. And that is for those individuals that are looking for a bit of inspiration during times of peace, quiet, stillness, and deep thought. Well, thank you once again.